knew the magical world of Harry Potter could be so emotional?
It didn't quite feel real, and it was a bit traumatic.
These are the scenes that left our favorite actors in tears. Number 1. Losing Sirius Black in the Order of the Phoenix was one of the most emotionally charged scenes in the entire Harry Potter series. Daniel Radcliffe's screams of pain were actually cut from the movie because they were so agonizing. Radcliffe had recently lost a grandfather, so he was channeling that emotion in his performance, and it shows. Both Emma Watson and Helena Bonham Carter actually started crying because they were so affected by the rawness of the performance. That's one seriously powerful performance. Number 2. Hermione being tortured by Bellatrix in the Deathly Hallows Part 1 is an extremely disturbing scene. Turns out, it was even more disturbing on set. Emma Watson actually researched what it was like to be tortured beforehand to properly portray the harrowing experience. The scene itself was improvised by Watson and Carter, as the two performed the scene for minutes on end uninterrupted. Director David Yates gave the two of them room to build the intensity of the moment, and it most definitely got intense. The screams were quite horrible to listen to. She was kind of exploring and exorcising demons, really, and serving the scene doing that. Number 3. Working with the great Jason Isaacs is a pleasure, right?
In fact, working with Jason was not always a treat.
In a deleted scene from the Chamber of Secrets, Jason Isaacs hits Tom Felton's hand with his cobra cane as he tries to grab something in the store. However, Isaacs didn't realize that the teeth on the cobra were sharp, and they cut poor Tom's little hand. Naturally, this made Tom well up with tears as he tried to brave his way through the pain. Turns out, this was the first thing Isaacs filmed for the series. What a way to start.
Tom, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize how sharp they were and how heavy it was. And he went, no, it's all right. It's good for the scene.
Number 4. Perhaps the most emotional scene of the entire series was Harry, Ron, and Hermione jumping through this portal in the Deathly Hallows Part 1. The reason is, it was the last thing ever shot for the Harry Potter series.
Is this the last shot?
This is the last shot.
It was the end of an era for the Golden Trio. Daniel, Emma, and Rupert all got teary-eyed after cut was called, as the emotions came flooding in. After spending a whopping 10 years on the movie, we understand why this was such a big moment.
This is such an ironic way to...
I know, it's a very strange last shot.
Number 5. Ivana Lynch joined the Harry Potter cast in the Order of the Phoenix as Luna Lovegood. This was also the first movie to feature the Room of Requirement, where Lynch filmed a lot of her scenes. That's why it was very fitting when her last day of filming was in the Room of Requirement, making it a full circle moment for Lynch that produced a few tears. I felt like I'd started on the Room of Requirement scene, and that was like a learning curve, and you learn magic, and then we left and we go out into the battle, and I felt it was so symbolic. Number 6. Tom Felton couldn't help but get emotional when filming the epilogue scene for the Deathly Hallows Part 2. Knowing it was the last scene of a character he'd played for the past 10 years was very touching. On top of that, he got to share the moment with his real-life girlfriend Jade Olivia, who played his wife. But the most emotional part of filming the scene for Felton was actually seeing Harry all grown up with his wife and kids. I really thought Daniel did a marvelous job of being older. I got a bit emotional about that. Number 7. Bellatrix may have been a despised character, but Helena Bonham Carter got emotional when saying goodbye to her. After playing the character for 5 years, we can't blame her.
No, I'm genuinely really sad. I've got very attached to Bellatrix. She's been a friend to me.
Number 8. Bonnie Wright was another cast member that got emotional while filming the epilogue scene. Seeing her character Ginny all grown up, married, and with kids struck an emotional chord. How can you not get emotional wrapping up the story of a character you've been with for so long?
So the psychological journey that obviously we had to take was very interesting.
Number 9. Nobody can escape the emotions of filming the epilogue scene. Knowing it was going to be the last scene of the entire series made everyone emotional, including the crew, and there were tears shed all around. It actually became so emotional that they had to film the entire scene twice, because emotions kept getting in the way of production.
Yeah, it's a nice scene. It's a nice way to end, I think.
Number 10. Oliver Phelps had to get into a dark and emotional headspace before filming the heartbreaking scene of his character George reacting to his twin brother Fred passing away. He was given the advice to relate the moment to something that happened in his personal life, and to stay in that headspace even when not on camera.
It was a very emotional, charged scene, really, to get people into that mindset, you know.
That advice paid off as the emotion flowed in the scene. These scenes were emotional for us fans to watch, so we can't even imagine how raw emotions were on set. These actors truly gave it their all, and the results speak for themselves.